Well, hello there. Thank you for joining me once again in our second installment of a new experiment that we're embarking on called Take 5. The point of Take 5 is to take 5 minutes out of your day, whet your appetite a little bit of what we're going to be discussing and looking at on Sunday morning. We hope to see you in person either at 10 o'clock on Sunday morning, or if you cannot make it because of distance or illness or sickness, we hope that you'll join us via YouTube. And all those things will be on, all the teachings will be on YouTube and have been for a couple years now. Well, last week we began a brand new teaching series called Redefine, and over the next handful of weeks, we're going to be looking at a redefinition of greatness. Last week we started to look at the life of a guy by the name of John the Baptist, someone that Jesus considered the greatest man that ever lived. In fact, Jesus had a very unique way of saying this. He said, "There is no one born among women who is greater than John the Baptist." So if Jesus considered John the Baptist the greatest man that ever lived, it probably we should take that to heart and start to think about what are some of the attributes that John the Baptist had that Jesus called him, why Jesus called him the greatest man that ever lived. You know, last week we talked about some of the aspects, some of the check boxes that most of us would consider. This person is a great man, or this person is a great woman, or a great person has these check boxes. And yet, John probably didn't meet any of our check boxes. In many ways, he was homeless. In many ways, he didn't have a great gathering or following. He actually lost more of his disciples at the end of his ministry than he had at the beginning. He died in prison. He lost his head. And many people would have considered John the Baptist an ultimate failure. But Jesus has a redefinition, right? You know, Jesus all over the Gospels have these redefining statements, or these redefining moments when he causes people to question what they traditionally would think of in terms of a definition of greatness. You know, Jesus would say to his disciples, he said, "If you want to be great in my kingdom, you need to learn to be least," right? And you need to understand that the first shall be last and the last shall be first. And people were probably really confused when Jesus first made that statement. He also made a statement that if you want to find your life, you need to lose it for my sake. I think one of the reasons why John the Baptist was considered the greatest man by Jesus to have ever lived is because he understood that statement. In fact, there's a statement that has been said of John, and we're going to look at this in detail over the next few weeks. John made this statement, "I must decrease in order that Jesus may increase." Now, what does that mean? Well, it probably caused a lot of confusion, and yet it sounds very eerily similar to the statement of Jesus, that if you want to find your life, you need to lose your life for my sake. One of the saddest things, I think, in life is to live your entire life, and at the end of your life, wonder what the point was. You see, that wasn't the truth when it came to John the Baptist. He lost his life at a very, what we would consider a young age, just in his early 30s. But yet there was no regrets. And the reason why is because he understood his purpose. His purpose was very clear. He was to prepare the way for the Lord. In fact, the statements in the scripture, to make paths straight, to raise valleys and to lower mountains so that there would be a smooth, direct path. So when Jesus took center stage, and he did, in fact, John the Baptist was there in Jesus' really his coming out party and his beginning of his public ministry. John the Baptizer baptized Jesus. We'll look at this coming up as well. But John understood his purpose was to prepare people's hearts, to make paths straight. So then when Jesus was finally introduced, their spiritual eyes would be in focus, their spiritual ears would be tuned into the right frequency to prepare their hearts and prepare their minds so that when Jesus took center stage, they would recognize him and embrace the purpose that Jesus was calling them to. Well, in many ways, that is what our purpose should be as well. We should emulate John the Baptist's purpose. Now, John had a specific purpose at a specific time in a specific place, but all of us, in a very similar way, need to embrace the ultimate purpose in life May Jesus increase, may we decrease. And at the end of our life, may we say, I found my life, right? Because I lost my life in the greater purpose of Jesus. We hope you will join us. It is now 5 minutes and 15 seconds. God bless you. Have a great day.